Honest review, I have no idea why this is called Fear State because there's nothing to do with the Fear State storyline. There's not even a tie-in or a reference. What this does have is three separate stories that don't feel clunky or glued together. In fact, the first two actually work in perfect unison. The first story, The Jury, follows the plotline of the previous volume, with Worth trying to kill Bruce Wayne for the death of his daughter, even though it was nothing to do with him, and he's just trying to push the blame. Vile is still going around infecting people. We get a nice point of view from Huntress, who gets a reintroduction in this, and I absolutely love this. I adore her inclusion in the Bat family, and it's about time that she came back to it, and she is finally back. Vile targets her, and it kind of leads to his downfall. Like, there's a whole thing about like a jury and them judging Batman, and Batman kind of going rogue. That's pretty interesting. Then that leads on to the downfall of Vile and like the fighting between Huntress and Batman, which doesn't sound good, but surprisingly is. That's followed on by the Nakano nightmares, and no, it does not feature Scarecrow. Instead, it's about the mayor being trapped underground and almost being assassinated. And of course, the only person who can help him is Batman. Now, he doesn't like Batman, so it kind of makes an interesting dynamic for two people who don't get on, and they're having to kind of team up to kind of survive. Lastly, we have Deb Donovan in What the Hell is Task Force Z. Now, she is a character who appeared in the other stories. She is a reporter. She was infected by Vile. She was overcoming it. She was speaking to Huntress. And this story kind of focuses solely on her and an investigation of what's going on. She gets handed a note and she decides to investigate on her own, which leads her into Batman and him telling her to stay the hell away. Of course, she doesn't listen, and she decides to investigate even further, which leads her to Red Hood. Now, this essentially is a setup for a new Red Hood series, which I'm very happy about because I'm a huge Red Hood fan. And every single time he's in a series, I will buy it and I will at least give it a try. It's essentially about a bunch of villains who are kind of like zombified, working under him. But that's not what this story essentially is about. It's more about Deb and Red Hood kind of teaming up, her kind of losing her temper with him. And it probably doesn't sound as interesting as it is, but honestly, it is a good story. Overall, I think this is a big improvement over the first volume, which was kind of very introduction-y, very kind of bland. This one felt a lot better. This one felt warranted, and it was actually really, really good. So if you're still contemplating about picking up the series, at least getting to this volume and then deciding if you want to carry on or not,